So what we're going to be working on is allie.chat. We need to implement the streams front end element of the app. So if you look, we have bots here. We've created TCP bots, Discord bots, Twitch bots. We can also create, for example, a WebSocket bot here, and I could call it test1. And if I try to input this, it'll tell me it needs a server name. So I could say this is server 1. We need to add in key ups on those. And now I get an OAuth token here. I can reset my OAuth token and we can save it and go back. Looks good. So let's go ahead and also do on the save, we want to have a router link back to bots. So on the front end, underneath bots, we're going to add two things. The first is when we click save, bot, pardon me. We want to do this as a router link is going to navigate me to, and we want to say bots. Okay, and then also we want to have on this a key up command. So what is that? It's Angular CLI key up input. So I could do it in here as a key up dot enter, I think. Let me look at my other project here. Hey, Mr. Belrog, how are you doing? Not feeling the hat away? Yeah, it's just this. And we want to add this to the function called saveBots. SaveBot singular. So we'll add that on server name and then also on mat ID. When we run it again, fine. We can try to remove this one and it'll work. We can add it again here. And I can do like that. And there's our bot. Now, I was expecting this to navigate me to, so if I get rid of this here and in my save, we need to have a next action is a save. So here, this is for the bot create subscription. And in this, I want to do a this.router. So let's add that. We need to inject the router. Private router is a router. Dot navigate by URL to the bots component. Nifty shorthand for on key up. Yeah, it's pretty nice, huh? So on this one, we want to say is last saved action is a boolean. So now when we're doing the save here, this dot last save action equals true. So then up here, we can say that when we load the bot, we want to say if this dot is last save action, then we're going to navigate to bots. And we want to do this dot is last save action equals false. Okay, we'll give it a try again. We'll make a WebSocket bot. We'll give it a test, and it navigates me correctly. So we're happy there. So what I want to do is look at the streams. So on streams, it's plural, so we need to have a table, so we can use this one as a reference. And we're using material tables. So on my HTML for streams, the first thing I want to have on here is a mat card with the class equals streams container. And then we always want to have our ngx loading with a show equals loading. So let's add that here as a loading is a boolean. And then I want to have another mat card here with a mat title called streams. And then we want to have my, well, the next would be we don't want to have a filter, so we're just going to have all of them. So the next one here is another mat card content. And in this, I want to say that we have a table, which is a mat table, which is a mat sort, which has a data source equal to my data source, which we'll set in a moment. And we'll give it a class of the mat elevation Z8. And now what I need to do is I need to add in here my headers. So it's a table header of a mat header cell. And I'm going to say this is a mat header cell definition, and it's called a mat sort header so that we can sort on it. And I'm going to say that this one is called my stream name. So the next one here is a table definition of a mat cell, and it's a mat cell definition equals let element. Like that. And then all I want to have in here is my stream name. And we actually want this to be a, and it's going to be a router link here to be a, and I want to put this in my stream. And then also I want to do a element.id, like that. And we could do that as the element dot. And if I look at my interfaces, I should see a iStream in here, which is called stream name. Okay, that's fine for one. The next thing that I want to have is my table rows here, which is a mat header row called mat header row definition equals displayed columns. And then I want to have one more here, which is my mat row called mat row definition equals let row. And we're going to say our columns here are displayed columns. Finally, after table, we want to have my paginator, so mat paginator. And we're going to say that this has a page size options of 5, 10, or 20. And we want to do show first last buttons, and we'll say class equals table dash paginator. Easy enough. So now let's build our TS for this. We'll use the bots component as a guide here. And the first thing I need to have is a array here called displayed columns, which is a string array, like that. And it was called I don't see where I'm naming it. Just a second. You forgot on this one to have a ng-container called a mat column definition of stream name. It's interesting. We want to check that in just a moment. So let me add that to a notepad, which is check if can sort on bots provider name. Username. Okay. So back over here, we're going to say this was a stream name. Okay, the next thing that I need on this is my paginator, and that's a @viewChild mat paginator called paginator. And then we also want to have a viewChild here called mat sort, like that. And then I want to have here a number of streams, which is an iStream array. We want to have my data source, which is a new mat table data source of my type iStream. So in my ng on init, I want to say this.datasource.sort is equal to this.sort, this.datasource.paginator equals this.paginator, this.loading equals true. And then we'll do a this.webhub.request streams, which we need to have here as a private web hub called web hub service. So now we need to have here a streams received subscription, which is a new subject, right? Sorry, it's just a subscription. And we want to add here my on destroy. We'll do an ng on destroy and do this dot and whatever this one is dot unsubscribe. And then in the constructor, I'm going to do this dot streams received equals this dot webhub dot, and it's going to be called get streams, and we're going to subscribe here it's called streams, which is an iStream array. And I'm going to say that this.streams equals streams. And then this.datasource.data equals this.streams. Hey there, Wobbly Trout. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for that raid with a party of 8. How are you doing this fine morning? Morning there, Peter. How are you doing? It's been a bit. Looks like things are moving along well. Yeah, I'm working on allie.chat, just getting it done. I'm good, says Wobbly Trout. Thank you so much for that host. I very much appreciate that, buddy. Let's also add in here a toaster service. called toaster service. And then we're going to look at the web hub. And I want to have in here a streams received, which is a iStream array. And down here where we have the bots, we're going to make a new one like this called receive streams, which is a stream array. And then down here, we want to have a request streams. And then down here, we need to have a get streams, which is a iStream array called streams. Beautiful. So now on the back end, we're going to make a new one of these called a public asynchronous task called request streams. And in this, we can just copy one of our methods, because I'm going to go here and add a streams get. Like that. So in this one, we're going to do read streams asynchronous, which returns these stream DTOs. And then this is called receive streams of these, and then we'll write that it's okay and return. Easy enough. Now we can give it a run. Here's the app. We log in. We look at streams. It loads. We're going to look at my streams that I'm pulling. If I look, it says there's none. Okay, that's fine. It worked. So we can do it again. Do a login. Look at streams. Oh, you know what I never did? Is where I do this, I need to do this dot loading equals false. Now what I want to do is I want to make a new one of these, a new button in here called, so underneath, if I look at my bots component, I should have a button here called create stream. Like that. There we go. So when I look at create stream, love the project structure, so many parts, says Mr. Belron. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. If I look at bots, this is doing create bot, which is checking the provider here, and then requesting my authorization or navigating me to my URL. So all we want to do is we want to navigate, and I can do it not like this, but I could do a router link equals bots. stream. Okay, so if I look here at my app module, stream doesn't exist without an ID. There we go. That took me to streams. So that's looking good. So now we can look at our bots component. And we're going to write my stream HTML. So on this, we want the mat card here called class equals stream container. And then we want that same NGX loading using my show equals loading. And then we want to have a mat card. And I'm going to say that this is my mat card title. And I'm going to say that this one is going to be my stream name. Now this should actually be an input. So let me do this as a mat form field. And we'll do an input here called mat input class equals form control ID equals stream name placeholder equals stream name. My name is stream name. My ng model two-way bound here is going to be stream name. And I'm going to say that on keyup.enter, we're going to do save stream. And we'll also say that it's required. Okay, so over here we need to have a couple of things called loading, which is a boolean. We want to have one called stream name, which is a string. We also want to have something here called save stream, which is just an alert says this is to save the stream. Okay, additionally on this we want to have a mat card content and then probably a mat card footer. So if I look at the footer here, I'm going to add a button, two buttons, one for the back and one for the save, just like that. And this will be called save stream. This one will be back. So we need to have here a back, which is called if I look at my bot component.ts, I should have a back, which is just my location. So we need to add in here a private location, which is a location of my Angular common. Let's take another look at this. We look at streams, we do create new, and it brought me in here and it asked me to save my stream name. If I look here at my bot component, you're inside of what? Mat card content. So we'll put this in mat card footer. Looks good. That looks better. So now under streams, when I do a create, now I need to have my different fields in here. So if I open up here my interfaces and I look at an iStream, on here we're going to have a stream, which is an iStream. And then I want to have a stream name, has currency, which is a boolean, has commands, which is a boolean, has games, which is a boolean. And I think that that's about it for now. So also on this, I need to have the ID, which is a string. And then I want to have a new subscription called a stream received subscription, which is a new iStream received, iStream. No, this is a subscription. That one. We want to add on destroy. I need to do the ng on destroy here and unsubscribe this. And then here I want to do this dot streams received equals this dot, and we need to add in here my private web hub called web hub service. And we're going to do a get stream singular, and we're going to subscribe here my stream called iStream. And we're going to do this dot stream equals stream. This dot stream name equals stream dot stream name. Then we're going to rinse and repeat this for currency, commands, and games. Has currency, has commands, and has games. We also want to do right here this dot loading equals false, and in our ng init, sorry, this needs to go in the constructor. And this we want to do this dot get dot web hub service dot request stream of my this dot ID. So we still need to set the ID. So we do that right here. And I'm going to do a this dot route, and we want to add in here a private route is a activated route dot params dot subscribe, and we're going to do my parameters here, and we want to say that this is my this dot ID is equal to the params of the ID. And here we'll do a this dot loading equals true. Hey there, official redemptions. How are you doing this morning? Welcome to the channel. So that looks pretty good now. So if I was to look at my services for WebHub, we want to add in here one called get stream, which is just singular. We want to add one up here called request stream singular, which passes in a string like that. I need to have one called receive stream singular. And then up here I need to have one called stream received singular. Text editor. This is VS Code, and then I'm also using Visual Studio. That should clear up all my errors here, and it did. So now let's go fix the backend. So in my hub, we need to have one called request stream singular, which is going to pass in a GUID called my ID. And this is a stream get. We're going to read the stream of this one. And then we're going to return just this one stream and write OK. And that's it. So we'll give it a try. Hey there, Twitch QT123. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. We'll do create a stream here. So this time when this is loading, we're requesting this ID. So if this.id does not equal to undefined, and this.id does not equal to null, and this.id does not equal to that, then we want to do this stuff. My ID was limhd777. Oh yeah, I remember you, buddy. How goes it? Of course I remember you. So this looks good. We didn't have a stream name here, so I could say test. And if I click save, this is to save it. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to do a if this.stream name is equal to undefined, or this.stream name is equal to null, or this.stream name is equal to nothing, then we're going to do this dot toaster service dot error, or we'll say this is a warn. You must enter a stream name. Please try again. And we're going to say stream name required. Okay, otherwise we can do my this.webhubservice. And we're going to do a save, or let me add my toaster service in here. Usually make a utilities classes for JS frontend stuff for common functions. Is null or undef and is null or empty. That's a good idea. I'll do that for the next project. That's a really good idea. Okay. And now in my web hub, I need to add in here a new create stream received, which I'll say is a Boolean. And down here, we'll make a new one under here called receive stream. We'll say this is a create stream, which will be create stream. Sorry, this is create stream and create stream received. Down here, we need to have a create stream, which is going to be a if this dot hub connection, then we can do a this dot hub connection invoke, and we're going to say it's a create stream, and in this we want to pass in my stream, which is an iStream, right? And then down here under request stream, we also want to have one called I thought you had one called get. Just a second. Yeah, down here we should have a get create stream. Which is a create stream received. Which means that we also need to have a stream create received subscription. Which we'll also add here in the destroy. This is a create stream, and we're going to do a const stream here, which is a type of stream, and we'll define this to be stream name equals this dot stream name. Sorry. Has commands is this dot has commands. Has currency is this dot has currency. Has games is this dot games. And ID is this dot ID. Is that all of them? Application user routes. So let me go look at this, and we'll make a new one called a iStream create request, which doesn't need that or that. And then here we want to do this as a iStream create request. Timestamp is the one that's missing, so we can get rid of this and just add in here an ID, which is a string. So back in here, we need to create this as a public asynchronous task called create stream, which is going to be a stream create request called a request. Looks good. And we can get rid of these display names. And so if I accept this call, also making that same class a type of function that basically calls object prototype to string call object and compares the result with two objects. So you can check to see if you have that's type safety onto the transpile JavaScript. That's interesting. I've never heard of doing that. That's a really interesting pattern. Let me go ahead and write those down. So this is going to be a stream create. And this is going to be a create stream asynchronous, passing in my request, my application user ID. And then here, we do have a receive stream, but we're also calling the create stream back. And this is a true. Otherwise, you're going to do this one here as a false. So let's run it. Okay, we also want to have a this dot string create received equals this dot web hub service dot get create string dot subscribe. And we're going to say this is my success, which is a boolean. And so if it is a success, then we can do this dot toaster service dot success. You have successfully added the stream. Add stream success. And otherwise we want to do else this dot toaster service dot error. The stream could not be added. Please try again later. Could not add stream. Easy enough. I think we're good to go now. So if I log in and I look at streams, I can create one here and I can call it, see, it'll tell me you must enter a stream name. So stream 1 could not add the stream. So when I run this, it fires here. I get my request, looks good. We're going to create this stream by mapping my request to my entity. You never assign your application user ID. So you want to do entity.application user ID equals application user ID. So let's stop it and do it again. Okay, it maps it, it creates it, and saves successfully. We get my stream VM, which is good. And then over here, when I run this, it says you've added the stream successfully. So down here, we want to do this.loading equals true. And there it is. This time when I request my stream, I get my ID. It's going to read it, and it worked. Beautiful. So that's working. So next one that we want to have is remove stream. So let me add that in right here as a remove stream. And we're going to do a stream remove or delete. We'll just say remove. And this is a remove stream delete stream asynchronous. If I look in this, do you have remove in here anywhere? We want this to be delete bot. We're going to send here a remove stream, and then you're going to do a request streams, and you'll write OK. Otherwise, this is a remove stream. It'll be forbidden, and you return false. And otherwise, you're going to do remove stream here as a false, and then save it. When we look at delete stream, it should just be setting it to inactive, and it does. Okay, so back over here in my streams component, let's open up bots. So I can just use this HTML here. And I want to add my remove button here into streams. Plural. And you're going to say that this is a remove stream. So we want to add in here a remove stream, which is going to pass in an ID of a string. And also, we need to add remove onto my displayed columns. And then now what I want to do is, just like I have in here, I want to have a confirmation box. So we need to add up here a private mat dialog called mat dialog. We also want to have a stream create subscription and a stream, no, it's just a stream remove subscription. Right here. Are you sure you want to delete this stream? Is confirmed as false, confirm cancel. We'll open this modal dialog here. And if it is undefined, that means that it's good and that they want to close it. And we're going to do a this.webhub.remove. And let me look at this one here, and I'm going to add it up here under my stream called remove stream. And this is going to be called remove stream. We need to have a subscription up here called a remove stream received. And in here we'll have a server method call remove stream called remove stream received. And then down here we need to have a get remove stream. Like that. So this is a remove stream of my this.id. Like that. Now, when we subscribe on this, we want to do a this.streamsRemoved equals this.webhub.getStreamRemoved. And we're going to subscribe here a success, which is a Boolean. And if this is a success, then we're going to do a this.toasterService.success. You have successfully removed the stream. Remove stream success. And then otherwise we want to do a this.toasterService.error. The stream could not be removed. Please try again later. And we want to say stream could not be removed. I think that's it. If we look back at the app and we run it, and I look at streams, I can look at this one, I can go back, I can remove it, it'll ask me if I want to. If I do, it removes it. So we'll make a new stream here called stream2. Which looks good. So the next thing that I want to add on here are my option boxes. So let me open up my Visual Studio Code with that other project that has them in my account. Whoops. This one. And let's close this and reopen this. And if I look at my account, you have these things as right here. So what I want to have is a new, and we're on stream singular. In my content, we want to have a mat checkbox, which is attached to my ng model called has currency game commands and games. Has currency does this stream have currencies? We'll do it again here for does this stream have games? And then the other one here is does this stream have commands? Like that. By the way, you use GUIDs a lot, and caring for GUID types since you're developing yourself and know how to pass GUID types at strings. I pass GUIDs to the back end, But I don't need GUIDs on the TypeScript layer. I can just do it as strings. You got a good eye there, Mr. Belrog. Okay, this looks pretty good, except for that we want to break in between. DZony37, how are you doing? Thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. Thank you for the support. Like that. Interesting. So it didn't update. So when I look at this again under stream and I look at a save, we want to say this.id equals stream.id. And then that's fine. And then when you create the stream here, we actually want to do this a little different because it's this. We want to do a stream if my request.id so in this we want to do a string called ID. Isn't a GUID that we want to create. Otherwise I want to do a update stream asynchronous. And then I want to say if my stream does not equal to null, then we'll do this stuff. Otherwise here we'll do it again as a create stream is false, and this will be a bad request. In my library, I can delete my request here under streams for stream update request. So when I look at this, this wants to be a create request. And this one we want to get my if my GUID.tryParse of my request.id out var GUID. Then we can do all this and change this to be a GUID. We can get rid of this one as well. So we'll run it. Did it not run? We'll go to login. We'll look at streams. We can pick one up. And if I was to do that, can I look at these in the front end? Wrong app. Maybe I could do here a color equals primary, and we could do this as a matte primary. Yeah, that looks much better. Same thing on this one. That time it updated it. It didn't make a second copy of it. So far, so good. So the next thing that we need to have is the routes panel. So when I look at that, it's under shared. We need to make that component. So we'll do ng generate component called shared routes. And I want to say that this is in my module app. And so now when I look in here under routes, we're going to do something similar like what we have for streams. So I'll just copy this in. And I'm going to say that this is my routes container. It has an NGX loading on it. Okay. Let me copy this into routes. And what I want to have here is this is my routes container. We're going to say this is routes. And we'll say that this one is a create outbound route. And it'll go to a route. And this is going to be my data type here, data source. And this is going to be a route type. And when you click on this, I don't think we want it to do anything. So I want to add in here element.routeType. Hey Adam, TT2222, greetings, how are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. Have I ever worked with the Google API? I used AWS Amplify, one of the methods for social login, ID token, and expire time. I've not found any good docs. Yeah, I've worked with the Google APIs. You need to log into the Google console and make an OAuth, and that'll give you your ID and your ID and secret, and then you'll need to auth with their server to get your token. They also have something called single sign-on for Google, which is much easier. It's just client-side, I believe. And we also want to pass in here route, and we want to pass in my what's called my stream ID. Because in this we can do a at input stream ID is a string. We also want to have a loading, which is a boolean. We also want to have a data source, which is a new mat table data source of type iRoute. And we also want to have a routes, which is an iRoute array. This is called route type. And if I look at interface for iRoute, perfect. This will be a remove route. And this one's going to say div ngIf equals element.routeType equals And if I look at my interface here for route, it's a number. And if I look we want 1. Then we can do this remove button. And then we have the other pieces in here. So underneath bots, we can have my view childs. And paginator. And sort. So when we do this, it's this dot data source dot sort is equal to this dot sort. The same thing for the paginator. And then when I look at my, we need to have a remove route, which is the alert removed a route invoked. And then, no problem. We also want to have my displayed columns here, which is a type of string array. And in this we want to say route type. And then finally in the stream component, here I want to do a app routes, and I want to pass in my stream ID equals ID. So when I look at this, hey there's some dev. How are you doing? Bobby Bike, greetings. How are you? Why didn't that work? Okay, that time it worked. So I want to do my stream ID is equal to ID. And that time that worked. And that loaded my routes here. Now, one thing about these routes is that this is pretty large. Do we have like a subtitle? That looks better. And I think in this one, I can get rid of this card. Not much. Some dev, are you who I think you are? Looks good. So I could load this routes strictly, and I think I may do that. So let's do a new private web hub called Web Hub Service. And what I want to say is if this dot stream ID does not equal to undefined, and this dot stream ID does not equal to null, and this dot stream ID is equal to nothing, does not equal to nothing, then I want to do this dot webhub dot request routes of my stream ID. And then up here we want to do a routes subscription, which is a subscription. And we want to make a on delete. On destroy, sorry. And I want to do a ng on destroy, and we're going to do a this thing dot unsubscribe. That's cool. I didn't know all that. How are you doing, Sound Dev? And then here I want to do this dot routes received equals this dot web service dot, and it's called get routes, and we want to subscribe here, and it's going to be my routes, which is an iRoute array, and we're going to say this dot routes equals routes, and then this dot data source dot data equals this dot routes, and then this dot loading equals false. We want to say this dot loading equals true. And on the HTML, let's put this inside of the card. So now in the Web Hub, we want to have a I'm going to call this my routes received, my route received, my create route received, and a remove route received. So in here we have a receive streams, create stream, update stream, remove stream. We'll just take these and modify my stream to be route. Like that. This is receive route, which is a route singular, and this is a route received, and then this is a create route, which is a create route received, and a remove route, which is a remove route received. Okay, the next one is down here, and we want these three or four, and I'm going to do a request routes called request routes, and I want to pass in here my stream ID, which is a string. I want to have a request route, which is a request route like that, a create route called a iRoute outbound, like that. And then this is a remove route, which is this. Okay, and then finally we need our gets, which are here. So get routes, which is an I route, and it's a routes received. This is a I route. Hey, there's some dev. Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. This is a route received, singular. This is a get create route, which is a create route received. And this is a get remove route, which is a remove route received. Okay, that's done. That's done. We should now be receiving our routes. Have you ever tested? I think I'm like 90 something. 344 characters a minute with 99.5 accuracy, not native language for me. Did a new run and got 419 CPM with 98. Like I'm 14 running those in the old computers in the 90s. Yeah, man, I understand. That's what we used to do too in the 90s, running those same things. Okay. So I think we're good on routes now. So let's go fix the back end. So we're going to do a swap these things out here and change this to be a stream to be a route like that. And then a lowercase stream to be like that. So now when I look at this, we have request routes. So we want to have a this, only we want to change these to be stream to be route. And here, you need to pass in here a GUID called stream ID. Receive routes, okay. That looks fine. This is one route. So this one, you don't know if this is an inbound or an outbound route. So you want request route inbound. Like that. And then you need to have another one for request route outbound. So route inbound get and route outbound get. Like that. And then this is a route outbound create request called create route outbound. And this is a route outbound create. And on this, we want this to have a public string called an ID. This is a create route outbound asynchronous and update route outbound asynchronous. Like that, and then you'll return it. And you're going to say that that's a false, and then you'll say that's a create. So in this, we want to have another one here called update route outbound. Hey there, Luvad. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. See you later there, Mr. Belron. Thanks for kicking it with us this morning. And then we're going to do a create route outbound. And then finally we have a remove route, which is a but you need to get your stream ID here. So you're going to do a var route equals await services.read stream asynchronous of my ID application user.id. So now I'm going to say if my route does not equal to null and this is a read route. Like that. And if I look at my auto mapper, route looks good. Okay? And this is going to be read route asynchronous. And this is going to be your route.stream.id. Okay, so back over here, we changed this a little bit. We now have routes received, route received. So it's a route inbound received. We have a route outbound received called iRoute outbound. This is iRoute. Create route outbound received. This is a route outbound removed. So this is a read route outbound. So when we look through this again, we have a request route inbound, request route outbound, create route in outbound, create route outbound, and then you have a remove route outbound. Looks good. So back over here, we have routes received, route inbound received, route outbound received, create route outbound, remove route outbound received. So in here, we have my receive routes. Receive route inbound is a route inbound received. You have a receive route outbound, which is a route outbound received. You have a create route outbound, which is a outbound received. And then you have a remove route outbound, which is a remove route outbound received. Hey there, Black Coffee Writer. I'm hooking up the streams and routes and paths on my Angular CLI front end for my large scale application called allie.chat. This one here is request routes, request route inbound, which is inbound, request route outbound, and then create route outbound, and then remove route outbound. And then finally down here, we have get route, which is routes, sorry, this is get route inbound. And then we have get route outbound, which is that. And then you have a get create route outbound. And then this is a get remove route outbound. That should work. So now, you should now be requesting all of my routes when this loads. Let's give it a run. Is there a link to what allie.chat should do? Still trying to get the high level picture. You can look on the website, pixelhorrorstudios.com. allie.chat is an RSS message routing system so that you can take your messages from Discord, Twitch, or YouTube, or any of the other different RSS providers, and then you can route them into different streams. And we have WebSocket TCP connectivity and WebSocket TCP, and then also Twitch and Discord integrated, so you can send messages through that. And then all the messages are parsed into JSON, and I have a client library and a client services class to interact with them. This thing says that it doesn't have update route outbound. So down here, we'll do a update route outbound. And I want to do a var, I'm going to say if my if my GUID.try parse of my request.id out var GUID, then we want to get my var entity equals await my context routes outbound first or default asynchronous s where my id is equal to GUID. And it's active. And then I want to say if my entity does not equal to null, then we're going to do a entity dot, and let's see. The only thing that we have on here is paths, so you really can't do anything with that. So we really only have the create, not the update. So back in here, if you can try to parse out, oh, we don't care about this ID anymore, do we? Okay, and if I look at this thing, this should be a route outbound. Which means that these are route outbound. And then we can get rid of this update route outbound. Which gives me one more error. No problem, Black Coffee Rider. Happy to help. If you haven't, make sure you check out our Discord, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. We're up to over 350 developers. It's a really great technical resource. Also, make sure that you check us out at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. I put all the videos up there. Thank you so much, JT Som, for that follow. Appreciate the support. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. And we look, and it received my route type, which means that it's inbound. So the next thing that we want to have about this is my number of, I guess we would want paths, right? So for that, we will look at the web hub here. And I'll copy streams again. And what we're going to have here is a request paths, which is going to be a GUID called my route ID. We need to have a request path server, a request path channel, and a request path channel webhook. We need to have a create path server, which is called a path server create request. I need to have a create path channel, called a path channel create request, and then one more called a path channel webhook create request. And then this one here is a remove path. So in here, we want to have our paths get path server get path channel get path channel webhook get path server create path server channel create path channel webhook create, and then finally we have a path remove. So this is my paths get, and in this one we're going to do read paths asynchronous of my route ID, and this is going to be receive paths called paths. The next one is path server. So this is a path server get. And this is a read path server asynchronous. Receive path server. This one is a path channel get, which will be a read path channels. Like that. And then a receive path channel. And this one here is a path channel webhook get. And it's a read path channel webhook asynchronous called a path channel webhook. And then it's a receive path channel webhook. Okay, this one here is a create. So this is a path server create. There is no update. So this is a var path server equals await create path server asynchronous. So if my path server does not equal to null, then we're going to say create path server is a true and receive path server, and we're going to pass in path server. Otherwise, we're going to do create path server here as a false, and this one as a create path server. Okay, the next is path channel. So we can get rid of this, and this is going to be a path channel. Create path channel asynchronous, and then this is going to be a create path channel and a receive path channel of my path channel, and then we want to put this one here and here. Only two more. This one is a var path channel webhook equals that. Create path channel webhook asynchronous. So if this does not equal to null, then this is a create path channel webhook with a receive path channel webhook. And then we have these two. And then the last one is remove path. This is a path channel webhook create. This is a path channel create. And this is a path server create, okay? The last one is this remove called path remove. I'm going to say delete path asynchronous. And then we're going to do remove path because it doesn't matter which one. And then you're going to do request paths. And right here we want to get my var path equals await services dot read path asynchronous. So that's here. And that needs to make sure that that's not an abstract. So read path async of my ID and my application user.id. So if my path does not equal to null and we can delete the path, then we're going to do a remove path. We're going to do a path.route.id. And that's that. And this is a remove path and a remove path. So in my services, where I'm doing my delete route, and I'm first reading that. This needs to include the stream. Good. The next one is the path. So you need to have in here a public virtual asynchronous task of a path VM called read path asynchronous, passing my GUID ID and my GUID application user ID. And then we can just take this one. Now I can say I want to get my paths and include my route and stream, where my route ID is equal to ID and my route.stream application ID is equal to that. Yeah. And this is an entity. And this is a first or default asynchronous. And then I want to say if my entity does not equal to null, then I want to do a return my mapper.map to a path VM of my entity. And otherwise we want to return null. And we can turn that into a conditional. Okay, now that we have that, we need to have those on my hub. So up here in my hub, I want to have at the top here a we'll use these. And I'm going to say that this one is called a paths received, and then you're going to have a path server received, a path channel received, and a path channel webhook received. This is an I path channel webhook. This is a I path channel. This one is a I path server. This one is an I path. And then you're going to have a path server create received, path channel create received, and a path channel webhook create received, and then finally a remove path received. So this one is a boolean, like that. So down here, we're going to copy these in. And the first one here is called receive paths. And it's going to be a number of these paths called iPath, called paths received, paths. The next one is called receive path server, which is a path server, and an iPath server, and a path server received. The next one is a receive path channel, which is a path channel called a iPath channel, called a path channel received. And then receive path channel webhook, which is a path channel webhook and a iPath channel webhook, like that. Okay, the next one is a receive path server create. No, it's just called a create path server, which is a success called a boolean, and this is a path server create received, passing in that. The next is create path channel, which is a path channel received, and the last one is a create path channel webhook, which is a that. And then the last one here is a remove path, which is a remove path received, like that. Okay, the next ones are down here. So I'll take it from these. So my first one here is request paths, which wants to pass in here a route ID. So request paths of my route ID. This is a request path server, which is a request path server passing in your ID. You have a request path channel, which is a request path channel. We also have a request path channel webhook, which is a request path channel webhook. The next is a create path server, which is a iPath server called a path server. This is called a create path server, passing in your request. The next is create path channel, which is a iPath channel called create path channel. And the last one here is a create path channel webhook, which is a path channel webhook like that. And then the last one is a remove path, which is a remove path. And the last ones are the gets. So we'll do these, and we have get paths, which is an iPath called paths received. We have a get path server called iPath server called path server received. We have a get path channel, which is a iPath channel called a path channel received. We have a get path channel webhook, which is a iPath channel webhook called a path channel webhook received. And then the next one is we have a get remove path server, which is a remove path, get create path server. And this is a path server create received. We have a get create path channel. We have a get create path channel webhook. And then we have the last one is a get remove path, which is a remove path received. Whew. That was a lot of work. And so now what I want to do is I want to generate a new component here called a ng generate component called shared dash path server. And I want to put that into my module app. I need to do the same thing again for a path channel. And the same thing again for a path channel webhook. Now you want to do one more called paths. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. I'm glad that was an okay solution. Okay. I think that's pretty good for scaffolding everything. Because on my paths, if I look at routes, and I brought this one in, and I said that this was a paths container, like this, create path. We'll just leave that alone for right now. We'll leave that. This is going to be a path type called path type. And this is going to say remove path. Looks good. Now when I look at this TS, you can add that here as a route ID and a paginator and a mat sort and a mat table row, and this is called paths. And this is paths received subscription, which needs to go into the on destroy. We want to do an unsubscribe on that. And then if I look here, I'll go ahead and I'll subscribe. Hey there, Kuro Huku 2011. How are you doing? Welcome to the channel. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them into the chat. First time I'm watching you, could you briefly tell me about your project? Sure, this is a large-scale bot that takes RSS messages from multiple feeds, Twitch, Discord. It's going to be taking a lot more than that, and then it routes them into different streams, and you can connect to it with WebSocket or TCP, or you can have it output into a Twitch channel or into a Discord channel. So it's sort of like the backbone of the messaging of my Twitch stream. So we want to add this one in here under the constructor. We want to add in a private web hub, which is a web hub service. And this is a get paths called paths. Okay. And then also on your ng init, I'm going to pass in my route ID, and this is request paths, like that. And then the last one is you need to have a remove path, and we're going to say alert remove path invoked. And so now in my routes, after I show this, I want to do a new ng container, mat column def, and we're going to say that this is called paths. And we'll add this in, header, and then I'll add this in for the element. And instead of doing this button, I'm going to do a app paths and pass in my route ID is equal to my element.id. And we'll add that onto the paths and remove. So now when we run this, and we go into login, and we look at streams, and we click on one. This time, what it's showing me is, ooh, it looks like that I have an error here. Could not find column with ID route type. So this needs to be path type and then a remove. And there we go. So we're starting to make our way through this of our inbound and outbound routes, and then also the paths that are associated with them. So we're making great progress. So thanks again, guys, for staying with me today. I am out of time. I will be back in the morning, though, at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thanks very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Bye. Make sure that you check us out at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. We're up to 350 developers, and also I put all these videos up at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Have a good one, guys. Bye.